Hello, and welcome to the Scale SaaS, the podcast where we explore how technology reshaped the way we work and grow. I'm your host, Ali Jamal. Today, we are talking about a powerful new way to interact with data, conversational analytics, where you can simply ask your business questions in plain English and get instant, accurate answers. Joining me is Dylan Gray, VP of Sales and Marketing at Quarrio, a company leading the charge in this space. Dylan, it's great to have you here.
Very nice. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so before we dive into the technology, let's talk about your journey. You have built a career in sales and marketing across data and analytics companies, a space that demands both technical understanding and strategic storytelling. Can you share a bit about your path and what ultimately led you to lead Curio?
Absolutely. So for the non-British amongst you, the reason I speak funny is I grew up in Britain, in Yorkshire, and I wanted to be a tractor driver. And my parents said, "Well, would you be a tractor driver with a degree?" And I'm like, "Oh gosh, okay." So off I went to Edinburgh University, and I ended up getting a degree in agriculture and expert systems. In fact, I published a paper on expert systems, gosh, who knows how many years ago. So fast forward, I worked in the Microsoft channel, 5.5 years, Capgemini product marketing manager. Then I went over and did sales operations for a software company that specialized in near real-time ETL. Then I came back to London. I did sales operations, supporting 3,500 salespeople for Compact. They liked it. They said, "Dylan, would you go to world headquarters and do it worldwide?" So in June 2000, I turned up in Houston, Texas, and supported 10,000 salespeople. And according to Compact Finance, put $415 million on the bottom line in 18 months. And then I got my 15,000 of my closest friends and I got laid off when HP took over Compact. So I started doing Salesforce. I ran a Salesforce consulting firm for 10 years. And then at the end of 23, I thought, you know what? I don't enjoy running a company. I'm going to do advisory board work and sales operations. As part of that, I was invited to join this software company, Quarrio. And Quarrio, I'll come and explain in a minute, but it's effectively conversational analytics or conversational business intelligence, whatever you like to choose, in near real time using AI, which is, what was expert systems when I did my degree in it. So I recognize the technology. They needed sales operations. I have track record. I can do that. They're coming to market. Great place to be. The real thing that persuaded me is Quarrio is unlike 99% of all the AI that you ever have heard about, because the chat GPTs, the Microsoft ones, all those others, they all are what's known as probabilistic or Gen AI, generative AI. And the way they work is you ask a nice question, whizzes off, looks at the data that it understands, and then it comes back, it does mathematical calculation, says statistically, this is the most likely answer.
Right.
And, rumor has it, somewhere between 65 and 85% accurate. And that is great. And it's very useful. I love it. It's changing our world. It will continue to change our world enormously. And it's probably one of the single best investments you could make as an organization if you get it right.
Right.
It has one issue. It's not 100% verifiable and fact-based. And Quarrio is what is known as deterministic. And it doesn't gen anything. It doesn't statistically recommend anything. What it does is it plugs into your data. You ask it a question in plain English, and you get an answer back in under 2 seconds. So it's very, very fast.
Right.
However, It's 100% fact-based. And if the data exists, it'll give it to you. And if the data doesn't exist, it'll say the data doesn't exist. If it doesn't understand your question, it'll say, I don't understand your question. But at no point will you get an answer that cannot be verified. You could ask the same thing 100 times of Quarrio, and you will get the identical answer. We even provide the SQL code that you can paste into a different system, and you will get the same data set. So for any regulated industry, anything like manufacturing, healthcare, finance, where it has to be 100% accurate, verifiable, auditable, and, for compliance, this is the tool. We don't hallucinate. We don't make up anything. The answer is either there in your system or it isn't.
Right. Okay. So we all know that analytics space is crowded, but conversational analytics feels like a new frontier. From your vantage point, how big is the market opportunity for this approach, and which industries are embracing it most quickly?
Well, I'm not sure that I'm really qualified to say how big it is, because it probably changes every day. I think it is so gigantic that there's enough room for anybody on the planet to go for it. If you think about the problems since the database was invented in the 70s and the way companies build, they have their silos and they're still trying to get access to it. Well, that is pretty much every company, apart from maybe the odd mom and pop, on the planet, and they still haven't solved it. Yeah. And we're still trying to solve it 50 years on. So I think the market is unfathomably large.
Right. And we also know that many executives, they rely a lot on traditional dashboards like tableaus. When you walk into a boardroom, how do you position Quarrio so leaders immediately understand why it is different and worth adopting?
Well, I think it's engaging with your data and getting answers in under 2 seconds. If you think about it, a boardroom has a lot of arms and legs supporting it. So you probably have data scientists who built a data lake, that cost $1 bazillion. And then you have, whether it's Tableau, Power BI, all these great tools that are fabulous at digesting and visualizing information in very sophisticated ways. However, they rely on data scientists who understand, first of all, the structure of the data.
Right.
If you have 4 date fields, which one should I be picking? The average user I don't have no idea. The second bit is then you have to have skills in the BI presentation tools to make the chart the way you want it. Mm-hmm. Well, Quarrio doesn't do any of that. That's their space. And it is a fantastic space, fantastically expensive, fantastically difficult, fantastically slow. You want a report, you get to say, oh, can I get a report with this? I need win rate on something. Mm-hmm. And a couple of days later, it'll come back. Here you are. You look at it and you go, oh, that's interesting. Now I need a follow-up report. Another couple of days later, you get the forget that. What Quarrio does is it will give you the answers in under 2 seconds on your phone, on your iPad, on your PC, and you can then ask, and that's the engage bit, follow-up questions. Show me top 10 customers by revenue. Bang, you get the list. Then you go, well, which of these bought a generator in the last 90 days? Bang. Of these generators that were bought, what was the win rate for each of them? Bang. Mm-hmm. Right. That's what Quarrio does, and it does it that fast. You can dump it out in Excel or send it off to a presentation team. It doesn't matter. What we give is that capability, and we give it to every single employee in the organization. the existing security model applies. So we don't even impact, we don't do security. It's your security. That's it. You put in Quarrio, you give it to the entire team, and they can get those kind of questions. When they can get information that quickly, they can make better decisions faster, and that delivers not just efficiency, but competitive advantage, because you get business outcomes quicker than your competitors.
Can you describe one of your biggest success stories?
We are coming to market. We've been in development for 9 years. And the reason I joined a year ago was to bring Quarrio to market. Now, we have a number of agreements which I'm not at liberty to talk about, but there is one. So let me just say, the largest internet security provider on the planet, let's say the largest digital manufacturing organization on the planet. Let's talk about a light bulb manufacturing organization. And the one I can talk about is a company that specializes in government, i.e. federal, civilian and military capabilities. And they issued a press release. The company is called Castellum, and they have signed us up because they believe that we fill a void that generative AI cannot fill for any of the government agencies. And that is a very, very, very major deal. And we shall see a little more as life goes on.
I would love to hear about your, go-to-market approach. So currently, are you relying mostly on direct enterprise sales or partnerships or inbound campaign, outbound campaign? How do you plan to market this new innovative idea?
Well, like most smart organizations, we're a learning organization. And so if you think about the buckets, there is the federal bucket. And so we have an approach for that. And I just shared one of those. For the enterprise space, we have very good and very extensive relationships, personal relationships, because of the people that are on the top team. So we're going to talk to, we have been talking to people that they know, and that's our hello. That's how we get the opportunity to sit at the table. Then we have a reseller partner strategy, which is amazing. I mean, it's taken off like you wouldn't believe. And that is very, very exciting, and we're very happy about that. And then we have a specific direct go-to-market strategy for anybody with Salesforce. And the reason is that I have 30 years of Salesforce experience, and I ran a consulting for 10 years. I know what it can. I know what it cannot do. I know what Tableau does. I know what Power BI does. What Quarrio does blows that out of the water. And it's a complement. It's not a replacement, but you can empower an entire sales organization, and you can brief a brand new VP of sales in less than 20 minutes. And that kind of power is available today. Salesforce might go, oh, no. We have Einstein and all these agents. That's fine. It's not a threat. It makes your product 5 times more valuable. So it's a win. And that's our go-to-market strategy in a nutshell.
I mean, that's very comprehensive GTM strategy. Okay, so I'm also keen to know that since you're talking with a lot of customers, what typical objections or questions comes up, and how do you address them? Just 1 or 2 key questions which normally arise when you interact with your customers.
Well, I think that the first challenge is trying to find out who's actually in charge of AI. And that, because you can go to a business person and they go, oh, I like that. And then you say, great. So how do we move this forward? And then they go, and then you end up, in the IT basement or procurement basement or the AI if they have a team. And, that can take 8 months to come out of the other side because you have to be approved before anybody can do anything. So that's the biggest hurdle for anybody, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The next objection, it's not really an objection. It's well, we've already got AI. The manufacturing organization, they have AI. They've got a lot of AI. And so they think they've already got it. So then it's about education.
Right.
And once you've then said, well, there's this, and then there's that, and they go, oh, once that penny drops, they then, that's a sort of objection one. Objection two is really about security. And they're like, well, is this secure? And when you point out that we only install it inside your security footprint, then the security is your existing security. And if you imagine, just take a fancy for a second, all the employees at IBM, they use ChatGPT. Why not? It's very useful. And if somebody said, oh, I wonder what everybody at IBM has looked at in the last 90 days, they would know more about IBM than IBM. What markets, what technologies, what competitors. With Quarrio, that's impossible. Your data and your questions never leave your organization. So first of all, we don't know who's in charge. Second of all, we don't know what it is. Thirdly, I'm terrified about all my data and security. And once you've got past that, then you can say, right, well, what is your problem and how can we help you?
So I was about to ask about the security and data security, and you already addressed it.
Thank you.
And now let's just talk about the future. Where do you see conversational analytics heading over the next 3 to 5 years? Will natural language interfaces become as standard as dashboards are today?
I have no doubt. I think it's going to go in the following directions. I think over the next 18 months, the world, both consumers, but especially in business and technology, are going to realize that whilst Gen AI is hugely valuable, without a fact-based data feed, which we will be providing, there's a problem. So it'll be us connecting to the Gen AI and feeding them. I think that's the biggest thing, and I think it's huge. The second thing is consumers, people, end users have got used to Google, hey, where's the nearest bakery? And now they're going to get this in business. What was my win rate last quarter? How much do we have in inventory ready to go in Ohio next week? And so I think the users will adopt it and will come to expect, as we all have with Amazon, you just go online, click, ship, oh, it's here today, oh, great. They're all going to expect conversational analytics. And that will become the minimum standard. Dashboards and fancy reporting will continue to exist because complex data requires that, which is why people spend the millions they do, and it's why the companies built what they did. That will not go away. What will happen is the speed at which you, the consumer, can get what it is that you need will increase to near, a matter of minutes, not days. And just to talk about that, on Quarrio, you can, in plain English, ask a question, get an answer, ask a follow-up, iterate, whatever you like, and then you can do two things. You save the question to your favorites, and you can pin it to a dashboard.
Right.
So whether I'm the janitor or the CEO, I can ask a question in plain English. If I like the question, I'll save that. And if I want to put it on my dashboard, then I can press a button. I can build a dashboard with the things that I use to run my life, my department, my company in, I don't know, 2 minutes.
Right. So it can also act like a team memory, and all the other team members can also look into it, because if I'm asking the question and I'm pinning it, I think other team members can also access it and perhaps can use it to create a team memory.
We have, at the moment, what you do is private to you. We have the concept of question libraries.
Right.
So you can have industry questions. If you're in the financial services, you have questions, that you ask that if you're in the plumbing industry, you don't. So there's industry questions. Then there are company questions. You are in capital markets and you are not in something else. So then there's capital market questions, and there's probably things that your company specifically use and talk about.
Right.
And then there are departmental questions. So then you go to the individual. So this is a matrix, and we are making that available, but it will be the customer's decision as to who gets to be offered what questions. Because we all know that asking the right question is the hardest bit.
Correct.
And so give everybody 10 top questions. If you're a line manager, here's the 10 questions. You can use them if you like. And all they do is go click, 2 seconds, got it, I like it, pin it, dashboard. Thank you.
It makes sense.
Done.
Makes sense. And as you think about Quarrio's on roadmap, what excites you most about the company's next phase of growth?
Oh, the SDK and the API.
Right. Okay.
Because at that point, anybody can plug in. And whether you're a Tableau, a Power BI, it doesn't matter who or what you are. You can extend this. And I don't know if you remember the Intel Inside program. Well, there's a Quarrio Inside program, and you can embed Quarrio inside your company, inside your product, inside whatever you like, because our unique ability to get you fact-based, verifiable data in under 2 seconds is huge. So you just build on top of that.
Right. Okay. Lastly, for executives who want to become more data-driven, just like you, what's the biggest mistake you see organizations making right now?
Well, it's appalling, really, because there are 2 things which are horrendous. And the first is that across multiple systems, the same thing, item, think of electric motor in manufacturing, has different identities. And, whether you call that a unified namespace, dynamic unified namespace, I think they used to call it federated search, but having a single identity for a single item is still not there. We talk to very, very big companies and they still haven't solved it. Quarrio can solve that. So that's the first mistake. They don't solve that. And it doesn't matter what you do, whether it's BI or AI or, XI or anything. If you haven't got that organized, everything you build on top of that is going to have serious issues. And as business moves faster and the data is the decision maker and driving some of those recommendations, and even in some cases automating some of those things, if it's fundamentally running on a flawed foundation of data, you're going to run into a brick wall 10 times faster, and that needs to be fixed. So that's the biggest issue. Don't fix that. The second piece is, where did it go? Yes, they believe the salespeople. And, people come along and they go, oh, yeah, sure. You've got to have AI, this, that, and the other. And they go, yeah. All my mates are, yeah, we better do some AI. How much do you need? Well, I don't know, 10 million. Okay, fine. And they just dump chunks of money into this sort of thing called AI, which they perhaps don't really understand. And they are not getting an ROI. And I think it was, I can't remember, it was McKinsey 2 weeks ago said something like some enormous percentage of AI projects have not returned on their investment.
Right.
Those are the two biggest mistakes. With Quarrio, we can solve that unified namespace. The second thing is that if you think about it, you've got a $100 million organization. I am pretty comfortable that if we implement Quarrio for sales, we can move your win rate 3% in under a year. And, well, 3% of 100 million is 3 million. We don't cost 3 million. So you can get your money back and grow your revenues in less than a year. If you take that to the CFO, there's a better investment on their list. So you're going to get AI, data unification, performance, competitive advantage, and a return on your money in under a year. And the things they're doing today are built on bad data or incompletely managed data. And secondly, tons of money into this sort of fuzzy bucket called AI, none of which, or most of which, is not giving them a business return, in which case, why are you doing it?
That's fantastic ROI, to be honest. So the last question, how can listeners connect with you, Dylan, or learn about Quarrio? Are you pretty active on LinkedIn or any other social media? Or
Well, I think the best way is to go to Quarrio, QUARRIO.com, and you can find us there. And you can always email sales@quarrio.com. And I think that's the safest way today, because as we come to market, with all our properties electronic and moving. So my name is Dylan Gray, DYLAN.GRAY @Quarrio.com, QUARRIO.com. And my cell phone is +1 281 685 5191. And you are welcome to call me. I won't bullshit you. I will answer your questions and I will help you if I can. So please feel free to reach out.
Dylan, thanks for joining this podcast. It was insightful discussion. That's all for today's episode of Scale SaaS. Once again, Dylan, thank you very much. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe and share the episode with colleagues who care about the future of work and AI. Until next time.
Thank you very much.